that versus committing suicide, this is something that you can go out on your own and you can get a prescription for. Before you start to suffer, before you start to reach that low point, you can go ahead and proceed with this. And then, to tie in with that, people are going to say, well, why would you do that? There's religious people that say, well, as soon as you take your own life, that's committing suicide. That is a sin. That's against, your religion. You're damned to hell. Well, for people that are religious to that aspect, I would offer you, I understand your religion, I understand how your beliefs are, but the Lord has already given you a plan. He's already dealt you your cards. You already know what your outcome is going to be, and you have a better idea than any of us on when the end is coming for you. So religiously, you can kind of make that work in your favor. Now, everybody's different. I'm not saying that just throw your religion out the door, but if you believe in the Lord, well, you know that He's already given you your hand to work with. Most of the suffering, as stated in the book, Decision Making Near the End of Life, most of the people are suffering. These aren't just people that are deciding, like I mentioned earlier, that, hey, I just want to take my life. 86% of the people, as said in Decision Making Near the End of Life, over 9 years, 86% of them were in some sort of hospice program where they needed help. Why did they go through with this? Well, they went through with it because they weren't living life to their full potential. They felt as if they couldn't enjoy life. So this gives them the power to do this. I'm sure everybody has experienced someone close to them, someone or some animal close to them where you just saw their pain, you saw their suffering, and you kind of wished that you could have been there for them, that you could have done more for them, or they could have done more for themselves. Somebody could have done something other than prolonging their agony and pain. That's what this law does. That's why I'm in favor of it. But it's tough to make those difficult decisions. It's tough to decide to take your own life. Yes, you know you're going to die. Yes, you know the end is near. But that's still a very tough decision to make. Well, how do we relate those decisions to ones that we have already in our lives? How do you determine what school you're going to go to? That's a pretty tough decision. How do you determine, the name of your children? Those are tough decisions. But let's go a little further. What about our pets, our animals? How do we make those decisions for our animals when we see them suffering? I myself had an animal. I had a dog for 13 years. And I watched her suffer. And I told myself I would never, ever end her life early. But through the suffering that I witnessed, through the pain that I saw her going through, I made that decision. So, from the outside in, that's what you have to look at. It's easy for us to say, yeah, that's the best thing for you to do, that's what you should go do, but that doesn't always mean that it's easy to do. If it were, then we wouldn't have gambling addicts, we wouldn't have drug addicts, we wouldn't have any kind of addicts. There would be no abusive relationships because people would just get out of them because they would know that's the best thing to do. Well, in this case, we may know someone close to us. We may have an elder who's suffering, who can't enjoy life, who doesn't even know who we are. We may know those people. It's easy for us to tell them what to do. It's easy for us to say this is what we should do. But for them to make that decision is very difficult. Well, this law allows them the power to at least make that decision. It gives them that right. And that is why I am in favor of it. So, in conclusion, I talked about the Oregon's Death with Dignity Act. I gave you a little information about what it is, how it works, what's required, what the benefits are, how I think more states should put it into their law, and why I think it's the best thing to do based on each person's individual needs. I just want to leave on one last quote. I meant to put it in there earlier, but as of 2013, the Oregon Public Health Report cited that there were 1,200 scripts that were written. So obviously there is benefit coming from it. So if you know somebody that could benefit from it, maybe share a little bit of what I told you today. If you have any further questions, please let me know. Thank you.